Hello dear students, I know most of you are already waiting for the video that is on 7th science, and in today's class we are going to discuss one of the most important topic, that is heat. Okay, let us go ahead with the lesson so that it will be very much helpful for you to write your FA2 exam. Let us go ahead. Here, coming to the topic, first we need to learn why do we need to study about heat. Because now day-to-day life we are coming across so many objects which are hot, some of the objects which are cold. Even during summer we prefer most of the cold objects, means the cold substances we need to consume there that time. For example, curd, it may be juice, cold drinks, right, ice cream, these types of foods we prefer. And even uh, cold area we need to, okay, we want to stay in, that time we prefer that. But coming to winter season, we prefer always hot objects or hot substances such as tea, coffee, right? Hot food, it may be, will be otherwise some carbs, hot ones. Okay, we will be preferring, right? Since we are using in our day-to-day life, this hotness and coldness, these hot objects and cold objects, we need to learn little more about this heat. Okay? What is heat then? Then, how to measure whether an object is hot or cold? Say, let us take one example. Here, as it is drawn here, three beakers are taken. In first beaker, let us take cold water. In the second beaker, hot water we have taken. Okay. In third beaker, that we have named it as C, their mixture of hot and cold water is put into that. Right. Now, let us keep our both the hands into two beakers. Left hand in cold water, right hand in hot water, right? For 1 or 2 minutes you keep. Immediately you remove both the hands and keep in third beaker, that is in C. When you place both the hands into that beaker, what do you feel? The left hand which you had kept in the cold water, it says that this water is hot because it was already in cold. So for that it is feeling this is hot, right? Whereas the hand which was kept in hot water, when it is brought to this is mixture, means this is not as much as this much hot. Okay, how much water this is hot, this is less than that, it is having hotness there. Then when you place your right hand into this water at a time, this water says that it is cold. Okay, means what? Your right hand says this water is cold, your left hand says this water is hot. Then can we depend on this type of sense of touch? Then it is not reliable, means we cannot depend on sense of or touch in order to know how hot an object is or how cold an object is. So that is why what do we need to do is we need to measure this heat in terms of temperature. Okay, we are measuring that hotness of an object in terms of temperature. Then what is temperature? Coming to temperature, it is a reliable measure of the degree of hotness of an object or a substance is called temperature. Okay, that is a reliable, means we can believe. Okay, next, it is degree of hotness of an object. For what level it is hot? If you are measuring that, that is what we call it as what? Temperature, right? Then how do we measure this temperature? Temperature is measured in terms of degree Celsius, Kelvin or Fahrenheit. Okay, all the three units we are using. Commonly we are using one unit, that is degree Celsius, right? Most commonly we are using. Otherwise Fahrenheit can also be used. Kelvin is the SI unit of the temperature. If you want to measure the temperature in SI unit, that is Kelvin, right? Now coming to here, the device what we are measuring this heat of different substances, that device used is nothing but a thermometer. Thermo means heat, meter means which measures that heat, right? So what we can say is a thermometer is a device which measures the heat present in an object or present in a substance. Okay, how hot an object is or how hot a substance is. If it is to be measured, the device used is nothing but a thermometer. Next, coming to here, types of thermometer. There are usually two types of thermometers. One is a clinical thermometer, the other is laboratory thermometer. Apart from these, other thermometers are also there. For example, whether if you want to measure the temperature of day to day's report, that is measured by using the thermometer called maximum and minimum thermometer, right? Here, now coming to, we are going to learn only specially about two thermometers. One is clinical, the other is laboratory thermometer. In clinical, one more we refer, just that is a digital thermometer which is used in clinics. Okay. Now coming to here, a clinical thermometer. Its construction and working we need to learn, right? How to define? Just you see how to say that. A clinical thermometer is a long uniform glass tube having a bulb at one end. This bulb is made up of metal. Okay, I'll tell you why it is used. Means metal is used there. Here, along the length of this clinical thermometer, inside a small capillary tube runs. Along this capillary tube, there will be a thread of mercury. Means mercury will be rising along this capillary tube. When it rises, this end of this clinical thermometer, since it is made up of metal, metals are good conductors of heat, as you know, right? They absorb the heat. This thermometer, when we usually you or your any of the relatives, in case if you have visited a clinic, there you might have seen the doctor who is using a clinical thermometer to measure the body temperature in order to know whether the person is having fever or not. Then what are they doing there usually? This thermometers, this end, which is having the bulb, that will be placed under the tongue or under the arm. It will be kept. When it is placed for some time, afterwards he takes it out and reads the temperature. Only this much you know. Now we are going to learn that in detail now. Then if you say construction means how it is made. A clinical thermometer is a long uniform glass tube having a bulb at one end. Along the length of this uniform glass tube, there runs a capillary tube. This capillary tube, inside that we find a thread of mercury. Now coming to here, this is construction just. How to use that clinical thermometer then? A clinical thermometer should be used with some procedures. Okay, some methods are there. Say for example, if the thermometer is kept in somebody's mouth and just taking reading the thermometer and keeping in somebody's mouth, if it is done, we are not treating those. Instead, doctor will be spreading the diseases. That is not possible, right? They will be very much highly alert doctors. See, that is why what they will do, they will sterilize it before giving it to another next patient there. Then how to read the thermometer first? When it is removed out of the mouth of that patient, the thermometer should be held straight to the eyes. Say for example like this. It should be held straight. Means reading has to be our eye level. Like that we need to keep it straight and we have to read. If this is the bulb, this is here thread of mercury, if it is stopping somewhere like this, straight to the eyes it should be held and it should be read. Now reading the thermometer. A clinical thermometer, it has a temperature range from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. What is the reason? The reason is human body temperature, that is normal one. Normal human body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Means you don't think that everybody must be having 37 degrees Celsius. It's not possible at all. Here a group of people who are very much healthy, of the same age and same physical fitness and all, they will be chosen, right? Their body temperatures when they are measured, it will be way just ranging from somebody's maybe 36, somebody's 39, somebody's 40, somebody's 41, like that will be varying. but where it is spreading from 35 to 41, it is going range. What they will do, those all the temperature they will add, and they will divide it by number of persons who are means giving observation there. When it is removed like that, average temperature we get, that average temperature is what we are having, that is 37 degrees Celsius. Means it may go below or above it. So that is normal human body temperature, that is 37 degrees Celsius. That is how we are measuring that. Now coming to here, graduations on the clinical thermometer. Along this capillary tube, on either side of the tube, we find some graduations. These graduation markings, they are having some numbers. One side it is written numbers in degree Celsius, one side in Fahrenheit, right? In degree Celsius, 35 to 42 degrees Celsius, usually we refer this one, right? Now coming to this, here, how to read the thermometer? Say for example, if the temperature, mercury thread is rising here, now what I have made is here one thermometer. When a magnifying glass is held on that, this is looking bigger, means middle part it is looking little bigger in order to read that this one reading there. So what it is showing here, thread is stopping here. If you refer this point, where it is showing here in between, right? Now, between each 36 degrees to 37 degrees Celsius, there are 10 divisions. Okay. If mercury is crossing this, you need to consider 36 degrees Celsius over. Next, if it is stopping here, 36.1, because each what division it denotes 0.1 degree Celsius is showing there, because 10 divisions are there. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, 1 means 36 to 37. That is just divided into 10 equal parts. So if you want to take this as, first one is 36 degrees Celsius plus this one division means 1 out of 10, means this is 0.1. So what we can do is, instead of 1 by 10, we can write this as 0.1. So if we add both together, this will be 36.1 degrees Celsius in case if mercury thread is stopping here. Now it is stopping here, where at this point, means 36, it is midway between 6 and 7, 36 and 37, means it is 36.5, because this is 0.5. So 36.5 we can say, right? Now this is how to read the reading on a clinical thermometer. Next, clinical thermometer, before it is placed given to the patient, it has to be given jerks. Okay, proper jerks has to be given. Why? The reason is, once if the reading is taken, that mercury will be what it is settling somewhere at higher range. It has to be settled well into the bulb. First, it has to come back to its position. Then after absorbing the heat, it has to move and show the reading, right? That is why it has to be given jerks like this, proper jerks. And while giving the jerks, we should not hit it against hard surface, because what happens, this bulb of the what this clinical thermometer, it contains mercury. That mercury is very much poisonous and it is difficult to dispose it off in case if it breaks. Okay, we should not throw here and there that mercury, it is highly poisonous, it is. So that is why we have to take care that it should not break while giving the jerks. Okay. After giving jerks, we have to give it for usage. Before that, what has to be done? It has to be sterilized well, right? Yes. After sterilization, it has to be given. Next, coming to this is all about a clinical thermometer, right? Did we leave anything? No. Okay. Almost we have covered everything which is related to clinical thermometer. Now coming to one point, when we hold this clinical thermometer after giving to a patient, don't you have one doubt, if the mercury is risen to certain height, will it drop or not? Just within 1 or 2 minutes it may drop, right? So what to do? When he is taking the reading, holding straight to the eyes, it may be falling down, right? So that time it may give wrong reading. That is why what is made is, in clinical thermometer, one kink is made here. Kink means one bent like structure here. Means what happens through this, mercury does not fall back to the bulb immediately. It stops it from coming down. That is why we need to give it jerks later to bring it down. Okay, if the kink is not there, it will fall immediately, so it gives wrong reading, right? So this is how we are measuring. And the same clinical thermometers nowadays, they are using a digital thermometer. Digital thermometers is very simple. It will be using cells, and it measures the temperature, and it shows digital numbers, it shows directly, and it is not making use of any mercury inside, right? In order to keep it safe, they are using nowadays, that is digital thermometers. And as you have already been to some of the other thermometers also, that is at a distance during corona time and all, they used to measure, you see, just by holding at a distance they used to measure. They are infrared thermometers, means some radiations they use. From a distance they measure what is the hotness of an object. Okay, so that can be measured. And you might have heard somebody used to say that 97 is their, 98 is their body temperature and all like that. And somebody used to say how much, 37 degree, 38 degree, like that. It is nothing but one side. What they used to say 30 and above, that was in degree Celsius. Those who said about 90 degree, it was in Fahrenheit. Okay, remember, they are the units used to measure the body temperature. Don't need to think that if it is 90 and above, it is pure. No, not like that. What type of unit we are measuring, that is most important there. So this is all about clinical thermometer. Next, one more type of thermometer, that is laboratory thermometer. A laboratory thermometer is used to measure the temperature of the substances, right? It is used to measure the temperature of the substances. Just you can see in the picture here, just what I have drawn here in the figure. Here, one beaker is taken, inside water I have shown. In case if you want to measure the temperature of the water, how it is placed, you see that thermometer. The thermometer, laboratory thermometer, first of all, it is used for measuring the temperature of substances, not human body, right? And its range is from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. From there to there, it is having temperature, wider range it has as compared to clinical one. Because clinical one, our body temperature just lies within the range of, that is 30 to 40, right? That is why it is having 35, means 35 to 42 it is having there clinical. Ours, as you know, that 37 degrees Celsius body temperature, right? That is why within that range it is operating. Whereas this here, it is having the range from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. Now, using this thermometer, there is a method. How? When you place a thermometer, its bulb has to be surrounded by the substances from all the sides. From all the sides means what? Just you see, if it is held here, say for example, this is a beaker. If this is a beaker, you have to place it at the center. Okay, and this should not touch the bottom and sides of the walls of the container. Okay, it should not touch the container's wall as well as down also, bottom. It should be just surrounded by the substances from all the sides. This is the most important one. Next one, this thermometer, as unlike a clinical thermometer, you cannot use it just like taking it up and reading the temperature. It is not possible in case of laboratory thermometer, because here this thermometer does not contain any kink inside. Okay, so as soon as you remove it out of the substance, immediately that mercury falls. Okay, falls back to the bulb. So in order to avoid that, what we are doing is we are placing the thermometer in the beaker itself, and this thermometer has to be fixed to a stand. Okay, and during keeping that thermometer inside the substance, that time itself the measurement has to be taken there, means what is the temperature of the substance. Once if you remove it from the substance, whatever the reading you take, that will be wrong. Okay, this is how we are using a laboratory thermometer. This is all just about heat, that is about up to thermometers we studied. Next, remaining part we are going to learn in the next video, that is about transfer of heat. Different types of transfer of heat will come, that will study in the next class, okay, in the next video.